I never believed toys could be dangerous until I found one sitting in my kitchen at 3 a.m., smiling at me. I hadn't touched it, and I live alone. The doll that wouldn't stay dead. I moved into this small one-bedroom apartment in Ohio last winter. Rent was cheap, and it was close to my work, so I didn't take care that the building was old and had a weird smell in the hallways. One evening, while unpacking boxes, I found something that didn't belong to me. At the bottom of my wardrobe box, wedged between my sweaters, was a small doll about a foot tall with tangled brown hair, chipped glassy eyes, and a permanent smirk carved into its porcelain face. It wore a faded red jumper and blue overalls, the kind of outfit you'd see on a kid from the 80s. I figured it had belonged to the previous tenant. My first instinct was to throw it out, but I hesitated. The thing was unsettling, sure, but also oddly detailed, too detailed. Its fingernails were painted. Its teeth, visible between its thin lips, were slightly yellowed. I put it in the hallway outside my door, thinking someone might claim it. When I came back an hour later, it was gone. Or so I thought. The next morning I found it sitting on my kitchen counter. At first I thought maybe a neighbor was playing a prank. I called the landlord, but she insisted there was no master key. Each apartment had a separate lock. Still, I tried to brush it off. I tossed the doll into a plastic bag and dropped it in the dumpster out back. That night, I woke up to the sound of faint scratching. It was coming from the kitchen. My heart thudded as I crept out of bed, the cold floor biting into my feet. And there it was, sitting in the same spot on the counter, only now, its head was tilted, and its smirk looked wider. I didn't sleep that night. Over the next week, strange things started happening. I'd hear footsteps in the living room while I was in bed, slow, deliberate steps. My TV would turn on by itself, blasting static once I left my phone charging in the kitchen and came back to find the doll sitting next to it, its tiny porcelain hand resting on the cord, like it was curious. I tried locking it in a box. I even taped the box shut. By morning the tape was peeled away, and the doll was sitting on my coffee table facing the couch, like it had been waiting for me to wake up. Then things escalated. One night I woke to the sound of laughter, not a child's laughter exactly, but something dry and raspy, like a grown man forcing his voice into a higher pitch. I grabbed my phone, but the screen wouldn't turn on, no matter how many times I pressed the button. I lit a candle and stepped into the living room. The doll was gone from the coffee table. I found it standing against the far wall, facing me. Its smirk had stretched into something jagged, showing more of those tiny yellow teeth. I lost it. I grabbed the doll and slammed it against the floor, over and over until its head cracked open. A puff of stale, foul-smelling dust came out like it had been filled with ashes. I stuffed the pieces into a garbage bag, took it out to my car, and drove 15 miles to toss it into a public dumpster. When I came home, I locked the door and sat on my bed, shaking. I thought it was over. The next night, I woke up to the sound of my front door creaking open. I froze, listening. Soft, uneven footsteps shuffled down the hall. My bedroom door was closed, but the footsteps stopped right outside it. The doorknob began to turn. I lunged for the window, thinking I could escape onto the fire escape, but the moment I reached it, I heard a faint, breathy whisper behind me. "You can't get rid of me." I turned. A doll was sitting on my bed, but it wasn't broken anymore. The cracks were gone, its head whole again, smirk fully intact, and this time, it moved. It tilted its head up and blinked slowly, then it climbed off the bed in short, stiff motions, landing on the floor with a dull thunk. I grabbed a heavy floor lamp and swung as hard as I could. The doll staggered back but didn't fall. Instead, it lunged at me. It was too fast for something so small. Tiny hands clawed at my legs, and I felt a sharp, stabbing pain as something metallic dug into my skin. I kicked it away, but it kept coming, teeth snapping. I grabbed it by the head and ran to the kitchen, slamming it onto the stove. I cranked all the burners too high. The doll thrashed and let out a horrible sound, a mix between a scream and nails on a chalkboard. The smell of burning fabric and something else, like rancid meat, filled the air. Its glassy eyes clouded over. The smirk melted away. When it finally stopped moving, I shoved it into a metal pot, poured in lighter fluid, and set it ablaze. I didn't stop until it was nothing but charred fragments. Then I flushed the ashes down the toilet. For 2 weeks, I didn't hear a thing. I slept through the night for the first time in months. But last night I woke to that same faint scratching sound. It was coming from inside my closet. I opened the door slowly, my heart pounding, and there, sitting on the top shelf, was the doll hole. Smiling, its tiny porcelain hand waved at me.